Testing. Hey. Good afternoon. How are you doing? Yes, this is interesting. So the silver has been moving down, gold has been moving down because of what is really happening. So what we are doing here is very simple. It's going to be crazy here, Carlos is inside, Kobias is inside. This is really great. Now this is what we are going to do. I'm scaling in. That means I have given the instruction here. We are going to catch this reversal that it's going to happen on 1 hour time frame. And I think the next step that we're going to move to is this area here. You see around at the top here, that is what we need first, around 74. And I know if we start, you need to scale in a little bit. So I'm waiting for more. You can see we are just waiting for more orders to start coming in. You can see actually the market is really trying. We have so many sellers into the market like we said yesterday. So the market is really trying around this area here. So once we move, expect the market to land here, which is going to land around 75. So once we land 75, we take some partial profit and then once the market start moving down again, then we continue buying more and more. So that is what you're going to do. But from now on, I'm going to keep buying silver. That is what is going to be doing here. So allow me to do this, interact this price here so that you can see the movement. This, oh, not this one. This one. Why can't I hold? Come on. So now we can see how the market will be moving from that place. So it's really going to be much better. So if that candle is going to close above that, then we can expect even more prices to keep moving even higher than that. So but in case this market keeps moving down, this is the instruction I'm giving. This market reversal, if the market keep going down, then I'm going to keep buying silver. The price is very low. As an investor, we are buying silver. I'm not going to exit this trend until we hit some good amount of money, until we hit some good goodies, until we hit some good amount of money here. That is when I can just exit this entry point. 75 is going to be imminent, like we're going to be getting this. So before that, I can just brief you on why the market is down. If you look at the fund right now, you realize that there's more cash like decisions. The inflation has been coming down, but with what is really happening right now, the escalation of the war, this Iran hitting the gas facilities, that is actually to tell us that in future we might be getting the inflation coming in. And what does the inflation means? Inflation means more prices for oil prices, more prices for commodities, and Fed at the end. The other day, they actually decided to maintain their interest rate at 3.75%. But if the situation continues, of course, we are going to see the silver. We are going to see the inflation coming in. And what is really going to happen to the market is, of course, the inflation is going to kick in. And the Fed has to do something. I'm talking about the dollar. I know this is actually even going to be a global issue. Already, I know this has impacted so many nations, like the high prices. I know there's so many nations that are coming with measures now to deal with the oil. There are some people, other nations actually restricting, the users coming with the holiday to avoid excess usage of oil. But this is the measures that are coming in. And if you listen to the Trump right now, the message he posted on the Truth, that is a platform. He was talking about. Let me 1 minute. 1 minute. So the reason you see the market moving like this. So the market is actually centered on the inflation. So the market is centered on the inflation. So the way you see gold moving down, uh, commodities moving down, specifically when we have not all commodities, because of course oil is moving up, and when we say commodities moving up, it's not all the time they're going to move up. Our oil prices, WTI is classified under commodities, and of course, it's not moving up. So we are getting oil prices, WTI moving up. And also, yesterday we saw gasoline, they are paying more on February. We saw PPI moving up. All these are signals to tell us the inflation is coming up. And of course, we saw the Fed, maintaining, making the inflation unchanged. And this is what we get from the traders, that there is coming to be anytime the Fed actually might shift from dovish to being hawkish. But of course, according to the Trump to the Powell statement, it was not really that much concern, because he's saying that inflation might be coming down that way. But of course, they need to act on that. They need to act on the inflation rate that is really moving up. And maybe next time, until this, if the inflation just comes down as we saw from the PPI, this actually might predict that next time we might be getting 25 basic point hawkish. Of course, we might be getting that. But don't forget, this is really very important, because the US inflation has been coming down without interest rate hike. So the reason they actually decided to maintain them just like that, of course, is because to just observe on how things are really moving. Don't forget also the Powell is almost to retire, and almost signing up, and someone is coming in. So there are a lot of things that are really happening. So right now, gold, silver, all of them just trending just based on what we are getting here. And this is basically just because of one thing, the DXY. So make sure that you are checking on the DXY so well. So we waited to see or not the market is really going to moving on this. Let's have fun on some things here so that we need to check. Made is this. So we said we're going to hold this. So if I'm going to see a negative, probably I think this market has already touched 70. I think near 69. That is really crazy. So if you look at these prices of silver compared to what the high we really got around 121, this is really cheap. I don't know whether the market will ever try to come to that level again, but at least we have cheap prices right now for the silver. Maybe we're going to move to the 80s. You see these prices that I'm waiting to see here. You can see now we have some buy orders really coming into this market and might be pushing it all maybe around 76. So if you look on the other side, you can see we have also building orders are really building here. That is a bias that we have into this market. The reason I was buying on this, I was really considering this region here, considering it has actually been like an honor block where every time the market touched this region, you see what really happened. The last time we touched 71, market went all the way to 91. It's only this breakout that we called from 71 and the market went all the way to 63. That was really crazy. That was really crazy. That is what's really happened into that market, right? So long term we're going to be holding this, but in case this market even comes to this level, remember we're going to have a partial close that is going to be doing that area here. Let's look for what is happening currently into this market. Is really nice to look at what is happening as we wait for the prices to come. Oil and gas price fair stand part micro report what moving in the market. So we're going to check on that. Right. Now I want us to have a discussion. I want us to have a discussion here on what is happening to the market. Then we can weigh in on what is likely to happen to this market. Huh? So in this area here, I'm waiting to see how the market is really going to react. This is a very, very big fall. Huh? This is a very big fall. We are actually on the stream level, and I think the market has to move back. So at least to 75. So these are scaling in from this level of 70. So you can see we are actually starting from 71. Is this 71? Actually, this was not 71. Where are we right now? Here from 71. This is 70. So we have already have our orders placed at this level here. So let me check the entries. Yeah, 71. So that is the entry 71.030. So that is the entry that we have. A lot of things are really happening right now, and I want to check for, let's see, let's see for the commodity side. The main reason why you see all this really happening is because of the Iran striking the gas facility. I have already seen that. That is what is causing all this chaos. But you can see that Trump is saying, you know what? We were not involved in Israel striking the market for these values. Like, okay, overvalued. Okay, this is commodities. I want to check silver here. May 16th. Let's see. So we are going to drive this slowly so that we can get to the point. We want to see the news rotating around silver. Let's see. Okay. Today is on 19th. It's 20 hours ago. I think this platform is not. Let's check on Bloomberg. Yes, testing. Yes. So, let me just repeat. I think my sound got lost in a way. So we can just talk about what is happening in this market. This is really going to be nice. And we see what is really going to be happening between the dollar and whatever is just happening. So we are going to keep an eye on what we are trading, which is silver right now. We come up with the reason I'm saying on this is because maybe the silver might be moving down, but to the situation where we have right now, this is actually like predicting what might be happening to the war right now, because where we are sitting right now, something has to happen, and I think this might not even escalate even more like this, because things are not going to be very worse. And as you can see, silver is very down, gold is really very down. And sometimes people think that when there is war, you expect the prices of gold to be up. Of course that cannot happen. You expect, when you think about this, when you're thinking about the safe haven, always make sure that you think about the inflation, because inflation is the center of everything. Now that is what I want us to check on the Bloomberg. This is what I was reading. Trump's call for the escalation of oil rises beyond 116. This is actually misleading. That is what I sent, because I've not heard Trump talking about the escalation. What Trump talks about is this one. So Trump was talking about, you know what, Israel hunger was taking place in the Middle East as violently lashes out of the major facilities known as South Pang gas in Iran. So this is what happened. Israel, with whatever they are doing, they just decided to bomb the past gas field in the Iran. Of course, this is the biggest industry in the Iran. Of course, this has to just affect the market in a way. Now, the second thing is this one. Iran, what they just decided to do is unfairly attack a portion of Qatar LPG facilities. Of course, you remember when they ran, they were talking about, if you hit our gas facilities, we are going to hit yours. If you do hit our civilians, buildings and all that, we are going to do the same. I think that is what the Iran were doing here, an eye for an eye. That is what they are calling it. So if the US are doing this, that is what the Iran was doing. So now the problem comes in here, and I think this is might not be this is not what Trump is talking about. So you can see the media and the Trump statement is different, right? So this is what now they call Trump calls for the escalation is just because of this one single statement, which is no more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining this extreme importance value of South Pala unless Iran honestly attacks are very innocent in the case of Qatar, in which instance United States of America without any help, consent of Iran, we must blow the entire South for that. Of course, yeah. No more. Of course, you can see he wrote even in capital letters. No more attacks will be made by the Israel where in South Pal, because when they are doing this, of course, what they if Israel are attacking the South Pal gas, then what happens? Then what happens? Then Iran attacks Qatar LNG gas facility. That is what you see happening because of this crisis. Crisis continues, and that's why you see now. You can see now Trump himself sees that he have made a mess, and that's why you can see he calls for the escalation. Like, you guys, you're going too much, and there are repercussions for this, and that's why you see now it is really happening. And of course, when you see such statement, it has to do with what? DXY has to be affected in a way, and that's why you see dollar has to be affected because of the inflation on how they are really moving, and that is really crazy. If you look at the Bloomberg index, you see the prices for commodities has actually been rising up in the past month, specifically for this If you look at the gasoline prices, is really moving up. So I think even American people are getting hurt so much in this world. So directly, they might be producing WT high. Maybe they use it for themselves. But of course, that is inflation, and the prices are really moving up. So that is crazy. So as traders, when you hear about this, the most important thing we check is DXY inflation. How is the inflation being affected in this mess? That is the most important thing. And with this statement now, anytime we might be hearing ceasefire, because of course this war has gone beyond, and Trump is one of the persons who normally, is a guy who wants economy to be good. And if that is really going to be messy just like that affecting the economy, I think it's going to come a time when that is really going to happen. And of course, he has already learned something, that other nations are not supporting him. So he is going to say, you know what, let's do a ceasefire, and this is going to be over. If you don't want this guy to, if you want this guy to keep producing the nuclear, to make the nuclear, it's up to you. Let's move on. Then of course that is really going to happen, right? So there is likelihood now for this Trump. Now you're going to hear that, because he's really going to abandon. He's acting like he's helping other nations on this case. But of course they are not coming in. That is from the other tweet that we saw about the NATO, telling them, you know what, come in, this help us to protect the Strait of Hormuz. But they rejected on that, and in a tone that looks like a very hungry, he tweeted and said, we not even want you actually, hatukuwa tunawahitaji on all that. And then he proceeded to say, you know what, again, we have our own file, so it's up to you, hiyo shauri yenu sasa. So that is what we can see here. Anytime, any moment, Trump actually, to protect the economy, because of one thing, the gasoline prices keep rising up if this war does not escalate. And although US has everything and not been hit directly, then of course economically it's really being affected. The inflation expectant, gasoline prices moving up, and thus is a major reason for the gold and silver to move down. It's not just because of safe haven, it's just because of what is really happening here. Look at gold. It's actually trading slightly below 4,700. And you know what? The market actually, when you see the market moving slowly like that, it's more dangerous than the market that moves very fast, because there is a possibility for recovery and grabbing all those orders, than the market that is moving slowly, like the way you can see gold moving. So we need a solution for this. Yesterday we saw the power speaking. Of course, there is no critical time. Either the fund has actually been caught up in a very messy, like you don't know what to do, you know what you want to do. The dollar is strengthening. Of course, it's not the work of the Fed to control dollar. If you don't know that, it's not the work of the Fed to control the prices of the dollar, but the dollar prices is really moving up. But on the other side, inflation are kicking in. Okay, inflation are kicking in. Strong dollar is important, yes, because it reduces the cost of import. Yeah, it reduces the cost of import. But inflation are kicking in, so that's why you see the Fed members are really going to be very independent in this case, because of what is really happening economically. You cannot predict this war and just know it's going to end this way, it's really going to happen like that. It's really crazy to see people known as the intelligent in the Trump, when they sit and I think Senatorial, they were being asked, did you know that when you hit Iran, they're going to close the Strait of Hormuz? They are actually being asked those questions. You are supposed to advise the president that when you hit Iran, the Iranians are going to close the Strait of Hormuz. They are going to hit the bases that surround the nations like Qatar. Of course, that is really going to happen. I think Kuwait. Did you advise the president that way? I think they are not honest. Direct. There is no direct answer to that. The other question the president was asked: did you know that they are going to hit the surrounding bases in the Iran? And of course, the president himself was saying, you know what? I didn't know about that one, but I know so well that he knew about that one, but he just decided to take risk. That is the risk. I know so many people are posting saying, that is why other presidents who have been in America, I think almost 10 of them from I don't know which year, there has been a threat to the Iran, but none of them has actually decided to hit them. That is just because once you hit Iran, you'll be crippled economically. You hit them with bomb, you'll be crippled economically. That is what is really happening. So as you can see, Trump being asked and saying, we did know that Iran is going to hit our bases that surround them around those nations. And also their intelligence. I don't know why they call them intelligent if they can't identify something like that. It's really crazy. So anytime we might be getting anytime we might be getting an escalation, and I think Trump is one who is going to be determinant in this case. If you listen from the side of the Iran Prime Minister, the one he was going to be asked about. You wanted to surrender I think they had about 440 kgs of uranium that is to build the nuclear bomb. Of course, they were to neutralize it, this to reduce power. I think so. Since neutralizing or removing the concentration, how do we call that name? Yeah, I think those terms. Yeah. I think he was almost to agree on that. Not almost, but I think what he was saying is that yes, we had this kind of agreement, but on the talk, then of course the US decided to attack us in the middle of conversation, in the middle of negotiation, then of course decided to hit us. So that is very serious. You need to understand what is being affected here. So many people run to buy gold. So many people run to buy whatever is just happening as safe haven. The market is not always about the safe haven. The market is always about inflation. If you can master the inflation to know what is being affected, of course you'll be in a very good side. For those who can remember, the first day of war, it was on Saturday. I told you the gold is going to move up, but we are not going to buy it because when it comes to things like this, then you don't the gold can really frustrate you so much. But I think for the silver, we can start buying it because I really don't even trust gold right now. I don't trust really gold. I don't trust gold. I've never seen a crash just like this happening because gold can actually tend to move back to 44. That is crazy. I don't want to move there on this, but as well we can move back to 6,000. That is $1,000 from now, which is around 57. So that is really crazy. But on silver side, I think that is why we are moving. That is why we are scaling in, and we are going to hold this for long term. As long now we understand now the fundamentals towards this, our area is going to be around all the top there, and then we minimize the risk, and of course we exit some position, and then we're going to get in even more and more on these positions. Right, that is why we are entering at 71. Anytime, trust me, of course there must be a solution for this. Because economically there's no one. I think even some officials in the US are not really onto these things because now, and if the Israel is really going against and they are not informing Trump of everything, that means there is trouble in the paradise. And anytime Trump decides to get out of this, of course, things are really going to end. Yeah. So I'm still waiting to see what I'm going to see here. So I'm going to observe this keenly. I'm going to get this keenly. It's going to be very important, So no face today, my guy. So Actually, if using the face and like streaming for many hours is really costly. My lighting here consumes a lot of electricity and very uncomforting to use the face. So we can just be using that like today, tomorrow, and not every single day. Not every single day to avoid damaging my eyes. That is to avoid damaging my eyes. You can imagine I stay on the computer like this for many hours, trading, sometimes learning, sometimes following information just like this, learning and all this, a lot of things. So also now using the lights for cameras, it's really, I don't want my eyes to be affected. That is the reason today you're not seeing my face. But today is on tomorrow we must be. Tomorrow I come. Who is this? Today is on Thursday, so tomorrow, yes, tomorrow we are going to be live. Tomorrow we are live again. So we are going to be live every single day until we see a solution for this. Until this war is over. So we are going to follow on this. So that is the most important things that you need to know. Yeah. So silver is the reason you see silver now is struggling to move up is because number one, we don't have so many buyers into the market. The buyers, not so many people are willing to buy. Not so many people are willing to buy, but we have so many people around 78 here. That means these are people still holding in the market, buying 78 and still holding at this level over here. I myself did not expect the silver to move to 70s. Actually, I was expecting 77 and then we keep moving up. But after yesterday, what we got from the Fed, of course, that just is another thing. The price of oil is moving down from 97, from 99 to 95. Of course, now this is actually at least going to push the market up. You can actually check on that. WTI is up, is doing well, 95. So the enemy of inflation is the oil. So once you see the oil moving up, then of course just know it's not about the safe haven anymore. So don't even look at safe haven. Once you see the oil prices moving up, fear inflation. But once you see the market moving, at least the oil stabilizing, then you can move to the safe haven thing, of course. There are a lot of sentiment analysis and you need to understand here. I want that to see. Let's open another chart here so that we can monitor the price of gasoline. So until we get, I think before this market moves up, we need something great. We need something to push this market up. Yeah, so I want us to thank you very much. I want us to check on Okay. Aha, uji broke kan we see can we get on paper store. How much is the price of oil in the fuel, that is petrol? Around 1.5 dollars. Okay, how much is, you can see this one at least is coming down. This one, if this keep moving up, then I think that is where the problem comes in. You can see this trend. These are actually the trend of how the gasoline has actually been moving up. People in the US, you have been paying for $3, you've been paying for 3.2 for gasoline. Hey, that's serious. That's very serious. That's very, very serious. And the price for WTI, that is this actually per gallon, and this is WTI is measured in the barrel. So there is a price of barrel. This is a price for gasoline. So unless maybe we get this level 3.1, we break down, maybe we get a reversal from this. Yeah, but you can see this of course has to affect. So inflation next month has to come up. PPI was up, everything was really up, so this is very serious. So BPI is a signal for more CPI. So I told you the market is centered in the inflation. Every nation is concerned with the inflation, not even the currency. So the currency, if you control inflation, then the currency is going to settle for itself. But that is actually the work of the central bank. Yeah, so directly the Fed controls the economy, and then the rest is history. This is very serious. You're very clean setup. Thank you so much. We are trying. So we are checking things here. So we are just having a conversation to help you know what you need to focus on. The last time Trump tweeted, this is serious, 7 hours ago. I think I have a notification on my phone. So anytime he tweets, I'm on. Anytime you see, and remember this, Trump is, I know so many of you maybe don't have Twitter, but Trump does not post on Twitter. I think even you go there and you see the last time he tweeted. So all this, whatever you're going to see on Twitter is actually a screenshot from the truth. So I know so many people don't have this, and they don't even know this. So now I know too. So if you want to see immediate posting of the Trump, or is saying, if you consider fundamentals news very important, very critical on your site, ensure that you install Truth Social on your phone. Go and follow this account, Real Donald Trump. Turn notification bell, yeah, so that anytime you tweet, you're going to check on that. You're not going to be late. This guy is going to tweet anytime. I'm not refreshing to say maybe predicting what is about to say, but yeah, anytime these things must happen. So we just need to control this. You can see this is directly proportional to what we get here. So if you really want to measure this, you can check on the DXY. I don't want to mention this, but the most important thing you need also to check is the fear index. That is the most important thing, but that is important for the people who trade stock indices. So if you want to stock indices like US 30, Nasdaq, then you need to understand about the fear index, so that you can just be moving between the risk off and the risk on. Right now we're in the risk off. There is no one who is interested to buy the risk assets. That's why you see they're falling, like US 30, Nasdaq. So when the risk on is when economy is stable, everything is stable, everything is good, there is peace, then of course we can take the risk from the market. Then we can take Nasdaq, we can take all these ones. So when Trump tweets like this, we move to risk on, expect US30 to push up, expect Nasdaq to shoot, expect gold also to push, and also the silver to push up. Wow, hey, I'm jealous of you people. I'm giving you this for free. Yeah, so that is what to expect. So a risk on, right now we are on the side of the risk off. So there's no one who is willing to buy the risk, the most volatile market. Nasdaq is down, US that those are stock indices. Those are US stock indices. So no one is interested in them. But when we get the worst ceasefire, of course there's going to be a peace. Of course that is peace. So when there is peace, investors now will start coming in a very big way. So, and I think that is where everyone is right now waiting to see. So if you see the prices of the US that trending around 46, I think around 46 here, and you remember actually we almost hit 51. I think we're very far. So if you are going to open a lot size, I think the minimum you can open in most brokers because of contract size is 0.1. So if you can open a low size of 0.1 on the US that and it hits all time high, or maybe test the high that it achieved around 5,500, then I think you're going to make more than $500 with just seeing one lot size like this. So those people who are going to be smart enough is those who are going to be following the ceasefire. How is it going to be? How, when this war is over, so many people are going to benefit from it. So this is the most important case. Are you really going to be observing or not is really going to be happening? Then you need to move to check US30, check Nasdaq, stock indices, how they are really performing. I know it's not going to take it's not going to be instant. Sometimes some people are going to focus on the oil, like WT high, because the oil is going to be like that. But of course, there's a lot of impact that was made in the Strait of Hormuz, and even if the market is going to price down, of course, that is going to take time before the Strait everything goes to function. But when now it comes to switching from the risk off to risk on, then it's going to be something that is not going to take a lot of time, right? And that is going to push the market all the way to the top. That is going to be very serious. So this is a good time to just know which side are you. Like, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for that? Investors will be coming in. Kwanza wakiona we are switched and there is going to be peace. Maybe a ceasefire is going to be announced and the Iran and the war is not going to take over soon, then of course they're going to enter big positions in the US that just take that serious. Yeah, so I'm saying that on 19th of March, that is what we're talking. This is 1:12 p.m. Once anything just happened in this war and there's a small ceasefire, there's a peace going to be announced, then of course over the Sunday market will be switching from the risk off to risk on, and then boom, investors buy US30, risk asset US30, Nasdaq, and they will be trending all the way up. Nasdaq, remember, it was trending around, right now we are talking about 23,400. I think we might be trending 26. I think we achieved that 26,000. US30, if it's going to achieve, right now it is at 46,196. So if we get something like 51, then that will be very big. That will be very, very, very big. That will be very big, and I think some people make money from that. So if you open just one position here, market moves to 50, that's around $400, just one position here. But of course right now it's a risk off. No one is willing to buy when there is risk. Of course you can see very big drop that just happened in this market. But what you can just see on the commodity side, something like silver is already sewn down, and we on the stream level we are sewn down. And yeah, so we already announced this. Let's see what is going to be happening. This guy tweeting and all the information, maybe a ceasefire, if this is going to be releasing, then of course things are really going to be at least nice for a while. All right. Greek trains. Thank you. You are talking about, can you talk about the risk management? Thank you. Okay, we can talk about the risk management. Let's talk about the risk management. I know those things sometimes, those are now the fundamentals, those are sentiment. Actually, those are a combination of sentiment and fundamental news. I know sometimes that we combine them all together. We get the news, and then you use sentiment. How is going to be reaction on this? That's now the professional way of thinking. You need to use your brain. If you don't use your brain, you think that anytime you see this is going, there's non-direct answers. You see the war, you buying gold and thinking it's safe haven. It's not all the time it's safe haven. Not all the time you're going to see a safe haven. No, not all the time is going to be safe haven. Great trends. Can we talk about risk management? Yes. What do you want to know about the risk management? Now let's talk about the risk management that we're talking about. So there are two things. First of all, I would like to tell you why number one, risk management will involve two. For example, right now I'm trading in a very big account. That's why I'm saying scale in silver, no small account. This is uncertainty news, and of course this is not scalping that we normally do. Small position, close here, trend here, exit here. This is very serious because this market has a potential. It can move down, but eventually I know anytime before, maybe tomorrow or maybe over the weekend, something's going to happen, and of course might be pushing the prices of the silver up. That's why you are buying, and you need big account on this and small lot size. So every position, maybe every $1 move in the gold, I'm placing maybe 0.1. Every drop 0.1, but of course not just buying at the top. You target the area and you say this area here, market has to reverse from this area. But of course, if market keep moving down, then you keep moving with it, because the market has to move back, like this level from 71. So even if market move to 60, I know the silver has to come back. That is what we have to know. So there is no way. My chances of winning this is very high, because if the silver keep moving down 68, I play 0.1, 60, I buy still. Yes, of course it's accumulating. That is not actually handing to the losing position. There's different in scaling in and adding to the losing position. Adding to the losing position is when you hit the stop loss. That is actually like day trending. The position I have right now is not day trending. This is actually this is actually big swing, because I can just wait until the war is over. Until war is over, maybe when we get something breakout, something breaking news from this, which is positive, then I think that is going to be the beginning for us to make some good amount of money, of which I know is actually going to move to 80s, 90s, and perhaps even maybe 100. That is the first thing that you need to know. Risk management has to come with the size of account you have. How much do you have you are having on account? If you have $100, then of course avoid trends that you are going to run for tomorrow, and consider risk, of course. If you have $200, $100, why are you buying silver right now? Yes, of course, I'm not saying that you don't have to buy silver, but why buy silver and own overnight? Why are you swinging with a small account? You cannot do swing trading. That is risk management. Risk management starts with what do you have, how much amount of money you have, and which strategy you use. Actually, do you know strategy is not the formula we use to enter. Strategy is the one you use. Trading, swing trading, intraday trader, that is now the type of trader that you're supposed to know. In this case, if your account is big, like mine here, I can just enter. You can see how the market is really moving slow. Negative 20, negative positive 30. I'm not concerned with that. I'm concerned with a bigger goal here. Perhaps thousands of dollars, and if it even move to $500, there's no problem, because that I'm targeting like $1,000 here. So that is what we need to know here. How much do you have? First of all, risk management involves the most important thing as well is the risk to reward ratio. How much are you risking? So if I'm risking this distance here, you see, for example, that is why I'm placed this one. You can see from 71 to 67, that is 4, but from 71 to 80, that is 9. So that is 2x. For those guys who trend in crypto, we talk about by either percentages in dollars or x's. X's means that you move to 2x, like okay, the others account creating 2x, but of course there is a profit margin on how much you are getting. What is happening? The volatility kicked in. What? Let me see. Okay, some breaking news. Let me hold up right now. Seriously, someone is joking with me here. Someone is joking with me right here. Yesterday I received money. I don't know who sent me that money, because I wanted to ask the bank, but blah 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 blah. But I'm going to do that again. So maybe I'm going to walk into the bank tonight and ask them who sent me that money. So maybe in the next 2 hours I'm going to move there. Who sent me that money? Is this? I see my positions just opened here. There's a position that have been opened on my account. I don't know who has done that. This is serious. I think I need to change my devices, right? After this, I need to change a lot. I need to change. I need to change my passwords and everything. Someone is infiltrating my space. Someone is infiltrating my space. How can you send me money? That was very serious. And I will not receive any call, complaint, anything. Right now, someone is opening position on my account. That is serious. I'm going to call even the broker right now. This is serious. And my devices are not open on the other side. This is serious now. Someone got my login, seriously? Let me go. Look at this. This is not my position. I need to close this. Oh my Lord. Jesus. The problem is not the person. The problem is not the person. The problem is not the person. I actually clicked the bot. There's a bot I created here and cheated. Oh my Lord. The bot is trending. Hey. Ay. Karibu nianze kutusi mtu hapa sahi. Seriously? Hey. Just exposed me to some losses here. I'm using MT5, so I don't know how I managed to click algo trading. So be careful if you have important any bot in your account and you click algo trading, then of course you're going to kitaumana sana, kitakumania vibaya. Where? Seriously? Hey. Okay, let's continue. Let me call this number. Then we are going to continue with risk management. Let's proceed with the risk management. How are you doing? Who is here? If you have any question, let it slide on the DM. We're going to talk about the risk management. So, let's see. I'm always reading, so the news once they come in. It's really important. Iran maritime blockage has left a fleet of stranded tankers and 40,000 sailors facing cross fire of drone and electronics jamming. Iran Hormuz blockage. So there's a big blockage that is there in the Strait of Hormuz. That is just to tell you one thing. There is going to be a very big traffic in that area. And of course, the oil prices keep moving up. But what do you see? The WTI is not really moving up, which means we have buyers getting exhausted. And of course, what you wait to see, a small confirmation for the news of ceasefire is going to cause this market to drop like a bomb, like a nuclear bomb. If you're watching this for the first time, ensure that you like, subscribe, turn on notification bell, because we normally come back live every time. And as well, make sure that you follow me on a social media platform than Aurex. It's going to be very important. And yeah. Now, what is happening to the risk management? Number one, we talked about what you need, like amount of money that you need is very important. The position you are opening, the asset that you are trading is very important. You know, sometimes when you're trading currencies, you can move with a small amount of money. That is really nice. But for USD, JPY, that currency pair is JPY pairs are really very volatile. So JPY pairs is, I can just put it to almost the level of commodities, very volatile. You need to know what you're trading. Euro USD, you can trade with a small amount of money, but you count pips so well. The other thing on risk management, we have talked about the risk to reward ratio. That is the most important thing. Understanding what you trade, amount of money that you have, risk to reward ratio. Those, when you get that one, then of course you have mastered trading. Yeah, once you get that one, it's very nice, very important, very nice. You are really going to go. How do you determine the risk to reward ratio? How do you determine risk to reward ratio? It's not just by placing the trend and knowing this is where to enter, this is where to exit. No, you cannot determine actually the risk to reward ratio. You need to understand where the market is likely to move to, and you don't just place your stop loss. Or if you realize, for example, if I place this, my stop loss is located way far, just know, and your TP is just around, maybe very close, that is not worth it. So you need to determine where your stop loss is. So if your stop loss is very far, the risk reward ratio is not going to give at all. You need a trend where stop loss, when you just look at it, you realize that no, this market can't move further. There is no further. There are a lot of things that you can really use to determine something like that. Number one, if for example you look at, I want to show you something that happened when the gold fall, when the gold collapsed. Let's call it a collapse when the gold collapsed. Let's move to the daily time frame. This is very serious. This is very serious. This is very simple that so many people ignore, and this is going to help you to these things of risk management. When some people are still buying market around here, you realize when the market is heading to 850s, almost 56. I know there are some people who bought from 55, 70, all those areas here. But for those who remember, we were live at that time. We are live here trading, and we started finding the position to sell. So look at this from this area. Actually, this, if you apply just a simple instrument, RSI, very simple, straight to the point. What do you get? What do you get at this level? Actually, this is not even a stream. So I normally see once the market moves past. So I want to put this RSI not only at 70. Actually, don't even trend the 70. Ever you use RSI, don't use 70. I'm going to put it at 95. Not even 95. So once the market crosses 90, once you see market touching 90, right? Once you see the market touching 90, just know there is no further hand. Like, no one is going to be willing to buy from that market. Look at this. This is a very big drop that happened here. So once I noted the market is on a stream level of 89, I start then to find my exit point from this market, considering we are trading on the highest time frame. Let's see another one where you almost hit. So if you are trading on 70 or 90, then you need to look at this to be 10. So I can just move it like that on the setting, and then I move this one to 10. So the moment you see from 85 mark on the RSI, 85 on the top, and downwards you see something like this is not the time that we were working. The 2020, when we were trading, we were working with the RSI at 70 mark, 75, and this was really working. Nowadays we work up to the level of 90. So 90 level, when you see 90, 89. Prepare for a big sell, especially if it is day time frame. The bigger the time frame, the bigger the fall it's going to be. So you can see this was daily time frame, bigger fall that was really to happen into this market. Let's move to 1 hour time frame. You see that one, it can now show happen in the lower time frame. This is serious. You can see this is trend. So once you see it rating it trend like that, just no possibility. Look at that fall. This is 90. Actually, this is no way. You can even go back and see where is the post, where has this market touched many times, just like that, this area here. So what you normally do is very simple. This is actually also another strategy. Look at that. I've not seen this chart, but look at the sell that happened. What is here? Look at this chart. Where is the chart? Look at this sell that happened across this area here. Look at this sell, this, but this is lower time frame, 1 hour time frame. Of course, it's going to be very small. Now, once you note the market, you are preparing for a sell. You have this is actually an added advantage to the market that you do. So this is just a confluence, like an additional things that you're going to do to the market. You realize something is just like that as an additional confluence, then of course you can start selling from that level. The market is at 90 and you have identified that is a good position to sell. Then of course start scaling in, right? Enter into this market and start selling from that level. It's going to give you good money. Simple as that. Simple. So I'm waiting to see, but you can see buyers are accumulating, like buyers are moving into this market. I want to see them moving. So be from this level here, 72 to 74 is really going to be moving fast. So I'm waiting to see. So more orders to accumulate here. Just keep checking on 96136. More orders to come in. At least we push this market all the way to the top. So risk management entails a lot of things. That is what I'm saying, and those are main points. You need to understand. So we're gonna be here again. Let's keep observing those zones. That is really going to be important. And I don't want to check much on the gold because I think we might be getting a more fall for gold prices. You can see that was really very big. That is very big. So if the silver is really going to rise, of course, we might be getting a replica of that on the gold side. So we might be getting the demand and gold as well moving up in coming hours or in coming just days. That is really going to be very important. Tomorrow is only for many people who expect the market to be slow. So being banks will be closed. The market is really going to be very slow in there. So those are things to take note on. Yeah, but of course, make sure that you check on this, and then I'm going to let me take a screenshot of this. I'm going to be buying as the market keep moving. That is what you should know from this. Specifically for the gold, I don't know where we might actually be ending on this because already we are down, but at least this level here is going to matter, which is around 46.56. Maybe we might be getting a reaction towards that area. All right. That is what I'm waiting to see on gold. Right now we are on the break even, so I'm going to be following up on what is happening in the market, on the blue bag, following news, following Trump's what is going to say about this. Make sure that your positions are very tight. Only reduce your entries, reduce your positions over the weekend. Anything can just happen. A lot of actually of things normally happens on the weekend. Remember, this is almost the fourth week. A lot of things are happening into the market. I might be coming live anytime from evening hour, so I'll see you then. Have a great day.